worked with banks and the IRS to try and rectify the situation. That's why he was sharing this information with Daniel to set him up. As luck would have it though, Gollum was still actually breaking the law while in Secret Service custody. In fact, he was running the same tax refund scheme when the agents weren't looking over his shoulder. Eventually, they did catch on though, and so his access was revoked. They took the laptop away, they put him back in the cell, and so this conversation with Daniel was stopped before it materialized into a big Hollywood sting operation. Daniel, of course, didn't know of any of this. What he did know was that this tax scheme worked really damn well. Except, unlike Gollum, he couldn't be bothered to do all the tax returns manually, and he was savvy enough with programming to automate the entire process. He wrote a program that would pull a person's name from his recently dismissed database, then look up their employer identification number, another database he managed to get access to, take all of that, automatically fill out an IRS W-2 form, and then connect to websites like H&R Block to use their online filing systems. It meant that all he had to do was collect the money, but this was actually the most labor-intensive part, because the returns were being sent to these prepaid debit cards, and they had to be cashed out through ATMs. This was the safest way to do it. It became his full-time job, 8 to 10 hours a day, often late at night. The withdrawal limits on cards were frustrating. Some would have daily thresholds only a few $100s, one to 8,000. He would often go out, do the withdrawals, and stay up past midnight. That way, the limits were reset, and he could do it all over again. On a good day, you'd be netting around $30,000. Of course, we know by now that Daniel had a very high risk tolerance, and that meant that he wanted to push this to the limit. Of course, that also means that things were about to get very risky.
Sometimes society gets overwhelming for someone who doesn't really agree with participating.
Daniel, needing a break from ATMs, took off to the Padres National Park in Southern California. In the wilderness, Daniel found peace, climbing trees, sleeping under the open sky. He even built himself this raft.
Los Padres National Forest in California. It was just kind of a way to get away from a system that I didn't agree with, I suppose. And I was just kind of taking a break from society at that point.
But eventually, the money called him back. He drifted between different hotels, would use his laptop to fire off more tax returns, and cash out at ATMs. When exhaustion hit, he'd head back to the trees. But that cycle couldn't last. If he wanted to disappear overseas, he needed more than just his own two hands stateside to run the operation. He wanted to outsource the riskiest bits, the collecting of the physical debit cards and the cashing out at ATMs, so he could just sit back on his laptop and file the returns with his automated software. It's at this point that Daniel went back online to try and recruit some help. He built a small network, accomplices who would open the bank accounts to funnel the refunds, others who would pick up the prepaid debit cards and actually collect the money from ATM machines. Everyone was operating under handles, but Daniel had developed a strict set of rules to make sure that he didn't get caught. He was paranoid, and to his credit, he did a great job of covering his tracks, but one of his workers, the Phoenix Man, named Ransom Marion Carter III, wasn't as cautious. In 2007, the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigation Unit, these guys might as well be FBI agents, by the way. They're sworn federal law enforcement officers with much of the same power. They've got the badge, the firearm. They got a commercial mail receiving agency.
Hey, Carhartt.
A strange
What up?
PO box customer. The worker noticed that Carter's box was overflowing with 26 prepaid debit cards, all registered in different names. Significant deposits labeled tax refunds were also being sent into his Compass bank account labeled Carter Tax and Accounting LLC. This raised some eyebrows with the IRS investigators. In these cases, they normally like to interview the victims, the people who were named on those tax returns, but they quickly realized they were all dead. The money was coming from fraudulently filed tax returns. But before they managed to get a search warrant for Carter's residence, he moved and disappeared. Initially, agents thought that this was their man, but they soon figured out that he was just some sort of low-level henchman, that there was someone far above him that was giving Carter the orders, someone who was actually making the fraudulent filings in the first place. But upon tracing the online records to see how these returns were actually filed, well, it was a dead end. It was hidden behind VPNs and botnets and proxies. They didn't know who the big boss was, but for now, they nicknamed him the Head. It's at this point that the investigation
Well, you know, Canada hasn't contributed a whole lot. I tried.
Investigation was launched.
I gave it a good
Agents opened a bank account
year and a
in
half.
Arizona and infiltrated Daniel's network. Now they found him online using
Fuck.
What the records do show is that someone already in his circle flipped. The government only ever refers to them as confidential informant number 2. The idea was simple: pose as a new collaborator, accept tax refunds into their Arizona account, and it worked.
The UK, I don't even know if anybody ever went IRL over there.
Tax refunds straight into
What's his name? Sherman.
account. His cut was supposed to be $68,000.
Sherwin.
And in sending this money back to him, they hoped that it would lead straight to him. It was a follow
The Joker guy.
investigation. This was going to be the only way they were going to bust him because his online presence was so
Fuck, that guy's
charismatic.
crazy.
But the process was not how they expected. Daniel sent step-by-step instructions to the confidential informant by email. First, he wanted all of the money washed in lantern fuel, so drug dogs.
I saw Sicilian Andy live today. Speaking of Europeans, that was kind of cool.
Hidden inside a child's toy, then gift wrapped with a card stuck on top for a sick child. They had to send back by email photos that they followed all of these steps before Daniel sent them an address. They were hoping it would be to a residential spot like a house, but instead it was to a 24-hour FedEx in Palo Alto. The package was to be addressed to a Patrick Stout. The agent set up a 24-hour surveillance in front of the shop. Since he could show up whenever, they were settling in for a long shift. They hoped that he would arrive soon after the package was marked as delivered, but it wasn't until a whole day after, at 5 a.m., that they watched a hooded man walk into the store. He showed the clerk at the desk his driver's license. It read Patrick Stout, but he refused to let them hold it. And instead of taking an offered pen by the worker to sign for the package, he pulled out his own, signed the paper, and did not touch the sheet with his fingertips.
Right on.
Then he took the package and was off. The chase was officially on. An agent started tailing the hooded man. Daniel spotted him. The odd behavior set off alarms in his head, and so he slipped into a counter-surveillance mode, cutting down side streets, doubling back, trying to lose the tail, but nothing was working. Maybe he was just being paranoid, but if the follower was law enforcement, he was finished anyways. So he made a bold move. He stopped in the middle of the street, turned
Hey, Tree Frog.
around, and walked straight towards the man, shadowing him, heart pounding, ready to bolt if grabbed. But nothing. He walked straight on by. In reality, the agent had another plan. They weren't sure if this hooded guy was the big boss or just someone paid to pick up the package. So they wanted to wait till whoever this was got into a car so they could follow them home, perhaps find the big boss that way. What they didn't expect was for their suspect
chair
to dart
sucks.
into an alley, rip open the parcel, take the money out, stuff it into their backpack, and then make a beeline for the Caltrain platform. By the time the agents scrambled up the stairs behind him, the train was already pulling away, southbound. He had slipped right through their fingers. They had been outwitted. Daniel had no idea the feds had almost grabbed him. To him, it was just paranoia. So when the confidential informant came back asking for more work, Daniel just sent off more fraudulent tax returns to his account. For investigators, it was a consolation prize. They hadn't caught him, but the informant's relationship with him was that much stronger, and they were going to use this to their advantage. They had the informant write Daniel an email, told him that he had friends in banking, someone that could clear massive amounts of money without raising any eyebrows. Daniel took the bait, sent even more transactions. But the real hook, the informant told Daniel that his banker friend could get funds unlocked from other banks. See, this was a big problem in the whole fraud. Banks would often lock these accounts up for suspicious activity, and so the funds there was no real way to get that undone since, of course, these were all registered under stolen identities. Daniel sent the informant a list of accounts that had been locked over the years. The investigators couldn't believe it. This was enough evidence to make a headline conviction, but still, they didn't know who he was. The IRS was closely monitoring the IP addresses for all the fraudulent returns being made, but every time they were hidden behind proxies and VPNs. Till June 1st, 2008. When did the IP address...
Didn't who live in a hotel? Tree Frog or me?
Well, his VPN connection must have dropped because it traced back to a Verizon Air...
I spent some time in the hotel.
Under the name Travis Rupert. The feds quickly found out that this was a fake identity, so that was enough...
Not really lived there. But we stayed in hotels for like 3 years, probably.
Communicating with cell towers and doing an analysis on those locations, they were able to figure out that this person was in California. In fact, they were able to determine that he lived in Domicilio,
If you can call that living.
right next to Santa Clara University, just blocks away from a train station. But through normal triangulation, this precise of a location shouldn't have been possible. It was time for them to set their trap. The informant emailed Daniel, said that his next cut was $352,000.
Yeah, so
Daniel provided the same instructions.
I lived in a hotel in 2001 or 2000. Must have been 2002. From 2002 to like 2005. I was at work. As a matter of fact, I was working through this whole thing too, so it was kind of shitty. I wouldn't even let them wash or like clean my room.
Tried to make a desperate run, but two cruisers closed in on him. One of them was able to deliver a small blow to his leg with its tire. He fell to the ground, and in a matter of moments, an officer had pinned him down. It was over. In the meantime, more agents swarmed into Daniel's apartment. His laptop was left running, complete with the air card. They found $116,000 in cash, $208,000 worth of gold coins, and $10,000 in silver. The FBI.
Hey, Canadian girl, what happened to you? I thought you were live. Well, until about an hour or something ago. I got home and you weren't live anymore.
Facially matching Daniel, register under a deceased person's name. Back at the station, things weren't going so well.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, having a roof over my head was great.
It took a week for his fingers to heal, and only then were they able to confirm his identity, Daniel Raikmain. During that time, Daniel couldn't believe it. He was racking his brain. Everything he did was calculated. There was no way that they could have found him. He knew it had to do with the air card, but how were they able to find his apartment from it? It shouldn't have been possible. Daniel was accused of stealing more than $4 million, but he had only actually got his hands on around $500,000. The rest had been frozen.
Oh.
This was the result of nearly 1,900 fraudulent tax returns.
How do they do that? So, you can steal money and get it put into a bank account, and they'll freeze that bank account, and you can still get charged with stealing the money, even though you can't get it.
Filed spread across 170 different bank accounts. Daniel would later insist that the
I think that's unfair. Hey, Space.
government was actually inflated. That's what he tried to take, but only $2.2 million in refunds ever actually came through. And of course, a bunch of that got locked, and so he only got his hands on that $500,000. Either way, he was facing a huge list of charges.
This guy stole 4.1 million, and he could only get his hands on $500,000 of it. What a fucking scam. But that's about right. Like, someone I know robbed a place for. Anyways, the number that they said was about 300 grand, and what they actually got away with was closer to 60 or 70. The rest was in checks and like receipts that nobody could do anything about. But you still get charged with taking them.
How did they get his exact address? What were the other techniques?
I think it's because of insurance companies. I'm not sure.
Suggested to Daniel that it seemed like the investigators had used some form of electronic surveillance, but had not gotten an order to do so as this was just enough to send Daniel down the rabbit hole. He spent as much time as they would allow.
What do you mean reformed?
3 hours a week in the prison library conducting research. He would later argue to get this up to 5 hours a week. His biggest problem was digital law was still the Wild West in 2008. There was only
Excuse
a
me.
handful of cases
Holy.
similar to Daniel's. His appointed lawyers were far from experts in the field, so Daniel chose to fire them to represent himself in court. The court tried to persuade him not to do it because usually this is a very stupid idea, but Daniel was no ordinary man, and it was his right to defend himself, so they were going to have to let him. Daniel would later say, quote, "When you hire an attorney, they have to pick and choose the things they're going to challenge because of time and resources, but I just challenged everything. The legal war had begun." Daniel believed a high-tech cell phone tracking tool was used to locate his apartment, but he needed to find something to prove it. And so he started requesting every document related to his case. Boxes and boxes of papers were arriving at the detention center, and he started combing through them. All the while, he's writing these handwritten motions to send back to the
that?
Most of what he got back was completely irrelevant, but Daniel had to go through it anyways, just in case. He couldn't afford to miss a single detail. After an overwhelming 14,000 pages of documents,
If you pay me, oh my god.
the second to last box,
Are you extorting someone?
there he came across a single word, a slip-up, in an email exchange between an FBI agent and a U.S. postal inspector. They used the word stingray. The moment Daniel saw the word, he knew this was it. But the page offered nothing more than a mention. To dig deeper, he needed the internet, and behind bars, now 2010, yeah, he'd been in for 2 years, that was no easy feat. Despite representing himself, Daniel had a shadow counsel of sorts, a lawyer on the outside named Dan Komarauer. Whenever Daniel needed to Google something, Komarauer would do it for him, print the search results off, mail them into the prison, and then Daniel would circle the pages that he wanted. Then Komarauer would look them up,
Holy fuck.
them out, and send them to a painfully slow process, but Daniel,
you can get that one for free.
Man, I don't know what you guys are up to.
well, he had nothing but
I also don't
That's
care.
when he discovered the truth.
Keep it up.
The Stingray device
Sounds like
was
it's
built by
shady.
Cirrus Corporation, a big-time U.S. defense provider, and every purchase came with a non-disclosure agreement that kept it out of public records. Judges really had no idea that this thing existed. Defense attorneys certainly didn't either, and law enforcement wanted it that way. So what exactly was a Stingray, and why was it so powerful that the FBI risked their entire case just to keep it a secret? A Stingray is what's known as a cell site simulator. I think it's best to let Daniel explain this one.
It's a miniature mobile cell tower operated by law enforcement, and it's without the knowledge of the service provider, and it forces all compatible cell phones in the area to connect to the equipment, and its purpose is to identify the phones and to locate the phones with high precision. So it's going to get a lot more precise than if they're just relying on real-time cell site information or E911 type stuff. And it does masquerade as a legitimate service provider cell towers, so they're going after like a Verizon phone in this scenario. That's what they're doing. It's actually going to have to pretend to be a Verizon cell tower. It's going to transmit certain codes that will trick those phones into thinking that it's a Verizon tower and cause phones to connect to it.
So it exploits the design of cell networks. Your phone, or air card in this case, is always listening for the strongest tower signal. The Stingray tricks it by pretending to be that tower. Picture this, a police van rolls up a few blocks from your house, and suddenly the fake tower is stronger than the real one 5 kilometers away. Without knowing any better, your phone connects. Agents do this until they get the one that they want to connect, and then they can drive around a little more. This lets them calculate the target's device location with apartment accuracy. And once that building is located, a handheld device like this can be used to literally find the room that that device is in. For Daniel, though, one thing was clear. There was a huge problem with the legality of Stingray devices. Daniel,
how can they tell what room you're in?
Stingray was a violation of his Fourth Amendment right. The Fourth Amendment protects people from unreasonable searches. Normally, if the police want to search your apartment, they need a warrant. If they want to wiretap you, they need a warrant. But Stingray was muddying that line all up because when using it, it didn't just track one suspect. It forced every device nearby to connect, meaning that police were essentially searching hundreds of bystanders at once. People who weren't suspected of anything. People they certainly didn't have a warrant to search. The Constitution doesn't allow law enforcement to snoop on everyone just because one person is under investigation. That's a massive breach of privacy that opens the door to all sorts of abuse. And Daniel was going to fight this, but first, he needed the public to know. So he started contacting journalists, scholars, researchers, and lawyers, but nobody was paying any attention to him. Till late summer of 2011. a PhD student and principal technologist of the American Civil Liberties Union, Chris Sagoyan, received an email. Daniel was emailing him because the ACLU is a non-profit organization dedicated to defending the individual rights guaranteed by the Constitution. But Chris was used to getting these sorts of emails from prisoners, usually with all sorts of crazy conspiracy theories, hoping to get out on some crazy way. It wasn't the case.
Handwritten letters, sometimes from jail. Some of these letters include references to mind control or aliens, or Fidel Castro controlling their brain via radio waves. And in 2011, I got one of these, and it was something to the effect of, the government has tracked me using a secret surveillance device that sent signals through the wall of my house. And they don't want to talk about this device, they don't want to talk about the technology, but I think you'll be interested to learn what I found.
But what really stuck out to Chris is that Daniel had included a massive document with his email.
It must have been 200 pages, and it was meticulously written, which is even more surprising when I learned that it had been written in a jail library without internet connection. And what he'd done is he collected every single publicly available source he could on stingrays and built this argument to support the idea that the government had used this technology. It was fascinating because it was the most well-researched memo I'd ever seen on this technology, written by a guy, rotting in jail.
Upon reading Daniel's document, Chris was immediately captivated. He couldn't keep this to himself, so he shared it with the Wall Street Journal. And on September 22nd, the story of Stingray and its potential misuse hit the newspaper headlines and dominated TV channels primetime. Daniel had become a sort of martyr for privacy, but still, this didn't solve his immediate problem of trying to win this case. Daniel had
No, I guess not.
But in front of the judge, he argued like someone who had passed the bar. Daniel's entire defense was to file a
I mean, it's possible.
suppress the evidence they obtained using their Stingray device. Because if you could suppress the location,
We can sort of see the sky right now, though.
Case because all of their evidence stemmed from what they found inside. But before storming Daniel's apartment, the FBI had secured 2 pieces of paper they were arguing allowed them to do it. The first was a search warrant that Daniel quickly tore apart. Daniel's argument was that the information they provided to the magistrate judge was insufficient to authorize the conduct that they undertook.
Yeah, I don't know.
Subsequently, his address, and that there were violations.
Probably not. I'm in a pretty populated city.
For a brief time, the federal government had a location of all the other devices that communicated with their Stingray. Daniel was arguing that this did not comply with the particularity requirement of the Fourth Amendment. Particularity meaning that if the government seeks authority to conduct a search or seizure, they need to explain specifically what it is that they're going to search and what it is that they're going to seize. Daniel's main argument here is that their warrant request did not lay out in detail how the Stingray operated. The second order was for a pen register, for which no probable cause was needed. These orders are less powerful than warrants and are usually used to obtain phone numbers dialed from a device, not location, but the feds were arguing anyways that them finding his location through the Stingray fit into the pen register order too. And truly, there was no definitive answer to this. Situations like these are handled case by case, judge by judge. So Daniel sat on his side of the courtroom alone, against, on the government side, an army of lawyers. Come June 4th, 2012, his motion to suppress was officially Through this motion and the attached documents, the defendant respectfully requests that the court suppresses all evidence and derivative evidence stemming from the government's air card locating mission.
Welcome
The
back.
judge approved this paper.
We're watching the lawn.
A free man. And the judge didn't like the fact that for more than 15 years, law enforcement had kept judges in the dark.
Oh yeah,
with these
those light columns are neat as hell.
Daniel, who finally forced them to admit to their existence in open court. Still, this wasn't an easy decision to be made.
Winkler, what's up?
Taking his sweet time. August 20th, 2012, more than 4 years after Daniel Rigmate was caught on the streets of Santa Clara, the whole courtroom hung on Judge Campbell's words. This was it, the moment that could rewrite history. Once the precedent is set, there was no way back. The motion to suppress was denied. The judge acknowledged that the investigators could have been more transparent with their wording when filing for the warrant, but he said they hit on enough valid points to authorize what they had done. It meant that Daniel wasn't getting
So I'm watching a
more motions to continue the trial and started challenging.
it's just a sort of, I guess, a I don't know what that is. Hold on. So what I'm watching is a I don't know what you call this. A report, I guess, or a story on the guy that initially exposed that the FBI was using stingrays. Which, by the way, it's funny that they call it a stingray when criminals do it. It's called a honeypot. I don't know. Same piece of technology. Oh, those light pillars, yeah. They're cool, dude. There is almost always a magnetic storm, to be honest. Like, we used to get, when they said there was a hole in the atmosphere that was above a little bit above the North Pole, we could see the northern lights probably every night back then. Or the auroras or whatever. And then, I don't know. I think the earth wobbled. And now they show up in a different spot. I think. I also think that's why our seasons got weird.
The government was having a hard time keeping up with them, and at that point, they already had no choice but to admit that they used the stingray. In a way, they'd already lost a big part of the battle, and they knew it. So in late summer 2013, they offered Daniel a plea deal. The reason they wanted to get rid of him.
Do you see them, CG?
The case wasn't because they were worried Stingray was going to get exposed more, because at that point it was pretty much already out there. The reason they wanted to get rid of me was because I was doing all that work. I was giving them so much work to do, and it was pushing the resource limit. If he took the deal, it would keep him from appealing the case, but he would receive time served behind bars and be removed from prison. Daniel was suspicious, so the negotiations took a whole 9 months. In the end, he went through with it.
Okay.
Sick of life in prison. On the 7th of April 2014, after more than 1,130 motions and hearings, Daniel finally walked out. He spent 5 years and 8 months of his life behind bars.
Cool.
If he had let his court-appointed attorneys take the stand, it could have been 17
So it is like they went south, eh? Weird, dude. I didn't mean to say A.
When the feds seized Daniel's gold and silver, the IRS wanted to liquidate it immediately, but prosecutors had a different idea. Hold on to it, in case the opportunity came up to use it in front of a jury as evidence. They knew that would hit hard, but that decision turned out to be a jackpot because by the time Daniel cut his plea deal, the gold and silver had skyrocketed in value. After they sold it and accounting for the seized cash and frozen accounts, the government didn't just recover the stolen
The Northern Lights.
made a profit thanks to Daniel's investment.
Auroras.
Man, Daniel still had dues to pay. 3 years probation and 100 hours of
Well, if you can see them still, that's kind of cool.
a soup kitchen and an internship at the ACLU, where he actually ended up working alongside Chris. He gave lectures about Stingray. He was serving his time, spreading his knowledge and raising awareness about the thing that the feds never wanted to come out. At that time, Daniel also started his news platform, FDJ News, focusing on privacy, security, and surveillance. Even after finishing
Canadians.
Daniel stayed with the ACLU.
I am not a Canadian, I just live in Canada.
Progress over the years. They helped expose the FBI non-disclosure agreements that barred local police from ever mentioning Stingray.
I don't identify as you people.
And they exposed how those agreements even advised prosecutors to cut plea deals or drop cases entirely.
I am a political prisoner.
Check it out. This order reads, quote, in any manner, including but not limited to press releases and court documents during judicial hearings or during other public forums or proceedings. With this out in the public, the FBI issued a strange statement, quote, the non-disclosure agreement should not be construed to prevent a law enforcement officer from disclosing to the court or a prosecutor that this technology was used in a particular case. Defendants have a legal right to challenge the use of electronic surveillance devices, and not disclosing their use could inappropriately and adversely affect the defendant's right to challenge.
Geographically, I'm in Canada.
Meanwhile, they did the exact opposite in Daniel's case. They tried to make sure it wasn't disclosed. This was a big crack in the feds' whole shtick around Stingray, and so the ACLU sued, and by September 2015, the feds were now forced to give warrants for most Stingray employments. Privacy advocates called this a win, but Daniel...
That's an artifact of my imprisonment.
...is just putting a new face on what they've been doing all along. In my case, they had a warrant. The problem was the information on the...
I speak the language of my jailers.
...on government surveillance technology for defense attorneys, journalists, and government transparency advocates. In 2007, Daniel's initial impulse was to escape from
It's like Stockholm Syndrome or something.
distance himself from it. After trial, there was no more running. Daniel faced the system head on. He left society. He would
Edmonton Syndrome. Well, that guy stole $4.1 million. Yahoo.
He's cracking himself up.
I do that quite regularly.
I'm
Aw, Anubis? Why? If you guys want to donate some sodium nitrate and a bag of sugar, I could get this lawn lit up pretty cool.
I need to go pick up some weed. I'm in Northeast Ohio. I think I'm closer to Canada and Boston than CCG.
Weed's good. Whatever you do, don't get the stuff that I got. Holy fuck. It's like super stinky, but it doesn't smell good.
What's that make? So you can see with your eyes?
No. What's what make? Oh, what's that make? Well, a couple things. It makes a really pretty decent model rocket engine. It also makes a smoke. If you add colored dye, you can make really, really good smoke bombs. You like melt it together into like a caramel on a hot plate in, I don't know, like whatever kind of pot. Melt it all up and then pour it into like a container, and it's a really long lasting smoke bomb. Yeah.
Oh shit. Sodium nitrate and sugar?
And also a really decent model rocket engine if you form them right. Pour them into like a toilet paper tube and insert a fuse. They'll take off really good. They're like a D model rocket engine or something. And then if you add some charcoal to that, you get some rudimentary black powder. There's a lot of, it's a really good base anyway.
Hi.
Hey Summer Rain, what's up? CG, I know how to make just about everything. Unless it's like super complex. And then I at least understand the I understand how to do it. We used to do that with styrofoam and gas.
I'm sorry.
And then we made little flaming sticky balls out of it and shot them at cars. It was fun. Right?
You rascals. Yeah, that's
You know, better than throwing a brick off a bridge or whatever, right? Overpass. About every 10 years, some kid in Edmonton throws a brick off a fucking overpass and puts it through like the window of a bus. Hits the news. Oh. Yeah, Hillbilly Napalm is right. We used to form that stuff into like ropes and light the rope on fire and have it like draped all around the neighborhood. It was awesome. Burned forever.
low.
I still haven't figured out what's wrong with this camera.
It didn't burn very hot and it burns for a while.
Yeah. I like the way like if you light it up and watch it, it like feeds itself more fuel by boiling the center of your mass kind of out. I thought that was neat.
When we were high, my childhood best friends and I, three guys, childhood best friends and three guys, BTW for any hamster with a Kleenex stops in a hamster with a Kleenex stops in a bag and the hamster. We first started with the egg and the hamster.
Oh my god. Oh, oh my god, did it work? That poor little thing. That is awesome.
It was hilarious and he never died.
Good job. I feel like there should be a bunch of more joints around here somewhere, and I guess not. Damn it. But even how high did you drop that little guy? I'm sure it wasn't that far. Did you throw him off your apartment building? You'd have to film that if you did it today. Make a whole YouTube about it. I don't know.
Imagine you're Imagine you're an astronaut out drifting in deep space. When you throw a rock as hard as you can, what's going to happen to that rock? Well, you would think that it would continue with constant velocity in a straight line. That's just Newton's first law. But what actually happens is it eventually slows down.
And then it stops.
Slows down and stops.
We went to a dilapidated house and the electricity was still on, but no lights. The ceiling fan was all we took as a reason. We took a reason to seal a strain on the ceiling fan and let it go full throttle.
Oh my god.
We were so high on our best moments.
I can't publicly speak about what my best moments are, but they involve millions of dollars worth of damage.
The last question.
And a haunted hospital. I shouldn't say any more than that. Fuck.
My BF made a bow with a sink pipe tube.
Made a what?
Back then.
Not a hat. Oh. Okay.
To smoke weed.
Okay. I got ya.
What is going on?
I just smoke
The
joints.
last.
I've actually got a pipe over here somewhere, but
We smoked weed out of the same pipe now.
when I was in in high school, when weed was still fucking illegal, we used to just smoke it out of pop cans, because you could find like a pop can anywhere.
That's a lot of weed.
Canada's always been lots of weed. We used to smoke once a year. Everybody in Edmonton goes down to this place, but you know me, I gotta meet the ringleader or something every time. So I get to know the guys that ran. So Dave is one of them. He ran like a head shop downtown and was like the ringleader of Edmonton's Cannabis Day celebration. And he used to go every year. They'd like try to bust him because he'd show up on the Parliament grounds here, or legislature grounds. Yeah, legislature, and roll like a 4-foot joint. Oh, I could believe that. Out of an apple? Huh. I did that. I think I did that in the last year. Poked a hole in an apple. I still didn't have a screen, so it was absolutely terrible. Yeah, we never had a problem with that. I don't know if there was plastic lining in our pop cans. I guess maybe if there was, we burnt them out, but I don't know. It didn't seem to be much of a problem. Yeah, I've heard that about brass too. Like brass causes Alzheimer's or something. Except then every fucking pipe that you can buy is brass. Yeah. I like glass. Or those, have you seen those beads that people use now? I think those are kind of cool. Pearls, I think they're called. Colloidal copper, hey? We just watched Whitney and I just watched the thing on colloidal silver. Kinda. It turned this lady completely blue. And, unlike the guy that got turned completely blue, this lady, they said, had a host of health problems and was like, she was like the leader of a cult or some shit. It was crazy. But she went pretty blue. I wonder, do you think colloidal copper can make you turn green?
Yeah, I guess.
That I've taken colloidal silver a few times. It's pretty like solid ancient technology. It's usually pretty safe. I don't know why every once in a while somebody turns blue. Yeah, that lady. What was that story was nuts. And I've only heard of like a handful of people, probably maybe 5. God, love's ridiculous. Yeah, Mother God. Crazy woman. She was so mad. She's like, that's enough! That is a fact. I didn't know the name of it, actually. That's interesting, too, because if you get, like, well, the purest copper I've seen, other than, like, ingots of metallic copper, chemically is, I think, copper sulfate. That's pretty blue. Yeah. We don't tolerate, you're kind of crazy. I forgot that she said that she was Pele or whatever. She's like the volcano goddess. Oh, what a lunatic. No, it's me. Don't you people recognize me? Oh, that's crazy. Angels. Ouch. I've put copper in, well, just copper in my wounds before and it stings. I assume most metals would do the same thing, though. Oh, fuck, yeah. Yeah, I think potassium's a metal, too. If you ever get that in your, straight into your bloodstream, holy fuck. That hurts like nothing else. That actually, you know what? I just want to touch on that a little bit. So, when you get a potassium injection, it's cold, right? And the cold hurts. But it burns. like fucking hot lava, and it's cold. It's the weirdest fucking feeling. And your brain can't adapt to it because it's like both extremes at the same time. Oh. That stuff's not fun. What's a Sarco? Oh, they are some copper mining company, I assume. Cool, dude. The hell was that? I don't know how this tea resin exists, and I've never tried it. I drank so much tea.
It has to be one of the strangest phones I've ever seen. A self-proclaimed dust-proof, shock-proof, waterproof, and rugged dual SIM card cell phone with, get this, a built-in shaver. In the box, it even has one of those little bristle cleaners for the foil head.
Shut up.
Durability tests here on my channel to make sure. Make sure the manufacturers are giving us quality, durable products.
Is this a bomb? What has this guy got?
You have to think to yourself, why is this grown man
A cell phone with a shaver?
And you're right. This is an incredibly weird situation. I think maybe we should just clear your search history and not talk about this again. It has to be one of the strangest phones.
That is ridiculous.
A self-proclaimed
A dual SIM card, super rugged phone that is also a shaver. Oh, CG, wait until you and I are in a chat room at the same time together and I run into Shoe Nice 22. That guy hates my guts so much. Thanks who? Oh, hello. Why is it doing that? What's up?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Maybe I should have bought apple.
You want a sandwich?
Yes.
Do you? Okay.
Maybe I should have bought apple.
What do you want on it?
Expensive keyboard tank.
Do you want peanut butter and jelly, or do you want like cheese or
Cheese?
you want just a cheese sandwich?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Just a cheese sandwich.
Yes.
You want cheese and something else?
No.
Like chicken?
No.
No?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You want mayo?
Yes.
It says mayo and cheese. Anything else?
No.
No turkey. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. That'll only take me a minute. You want white and orange cheese?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Maybe I should have bought that before buying an expensive keyboard tank. Oh well, I guess we'll just stick to my water skis.
I guess you will. You want pepperoni?
Yes.
On it?
Yes.
Do you?
No.
What do you mean, no?
I don't know.
Do you want pepperoni or no?
No.
No?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll make it, but honestly, I would think that you might want more in your sandwich than some cheese. No? I was gonna say when I was in jail, when I was in the hospital, it was so hard to get a cheese sandwich, man. You have no idea. Those people are villains. And then they wouldn't even let me have condiments. You know that? Yes. They're like, oh, you want ketchup? No. Don't bring that man any soy sauce. Because we made up a restriction on his diet that doesn't even exist. Sure, he's been managing his own diet for the whole time he's been here. And most of his life. So we're just going to cut you down to 100 milliliters of rice a day, please. And then you can watch these other people eat their food when they eat, if you like. If you're really hungry, we have cookies later. That's what they said to me, hey?
Yes.
I was like, what do you mean? If I'm really hungry, you have cookies. Ridiculous. You know?
Yes.
It's insane, dude.
If you scratch it, some cat hair. Split on the words for wear. Thanks, Twiddles.
Yeah, where's that from?
I don't know.
Yeah, you what is it? Who did you say? Twiddles?
Yes.
Who's Twiddles?
I don't know.
Which show's he from? Or she? It? They? Are you confused?
No.
No?
No.
I am. They, them, I don't know anymore. How's James?
Good.
Good? Just good.
Only wasn't sure George should be taught things like this.
Okay, you know what?
No.
These squeezable nail things are handy.
Mom,
Until
you know he's drawing in
they're
my
low.
pot. Mom, stop her.
What are you saying? Mom, stop who?
I don't know.
Stop who?
I don't know.
Well, you do. You're reading it right off the script, right?
This,
Who's the other character who's in the scene?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Who does it say it is? Hilarious, bro.
Classified. No, no,
Okay,
no,
so
no,
you
no.
want orange and white cheese?
Yes.
Okay. Just all over here?
Yes.
Slap it all on it?
Yes.
Okay. And then, put a piece of bread on top? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe
You don't want grilled or nothing?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You want a grilled cheese?
No.
No? Just a cheese sandwich.
Yes.
Here.
Maybe Rocket needs some extra zippy zappy go go go.
You are very welcome,
Look at go
by the way.
launcher.
You're very welcome, by the way. You want to say thank you?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. That's close enough. Man. Well. So hamburgers, eh?
Yes.
Alright. I can do that.
Commence normal hijinks. Go, go, go.
I'm looking for a model or a subject. But I don't know what I want to do yet. I'm gonna draw and then paint something, but I'm on a sort of a time budget. Like to get it done before I go to jail. That noise is crazy.
Is a modern version of a stale car accessory.
I'm gonna be kind of back and forth. I'm cooking bacon right now.
We're two brothers from Los Angeles seeking a $200,000 investment for 5% of our company.
Imagine a peaceful day on the road. Wind blowing, sun shining.
You're bumping your favorite track, cruising down the back streets, just catching a vibe.
But then that smell.
Cruising down the back streets.
Spilled coffee, even forgotten french fries can turn your car from an oasis into a horrible, stinky nightmare.
For years, the problem of a stinky ride has been solved by a series of ugly and unstylish air fresheners.
So, we created Ride Fresh, the world's flyest air freshener brand. I know you guys are probably wondering, why paper air fresheners? When you do a little sniffing around, you'll figure out that it's an untapped market.
At Ride Fresh, we offer a subscription-based car air freshener brand with unique scents and designs that'll be sure to blow you
And your customers'
minds.
We have amazing scents like wood grain. Wow,
Eucalyptus. I love this one, bro.
nice. And even your favorite basketball teams. This one smells like winning.
Sorry, Mark.
The reality is that paper air fresheners have had no innovation in far too long.
And they smell whack. Hey, bro.
What's up?
I think I'm smelling a deal. With the help of the sharks, we can make Ride Fresh explode.
That's idiotic. What?
Sharks in front of you, you'll find a series of our Ride Fresh scents. Please feel free to crack them open and enjoy.
Wow.
Wow. After that, we can't even function.
Mark, are you okay? You're kind of still over there.
Ooh, you know
Dumbest marketing move ever. I'm out.
Whoa.
What?
That's it?
Seriously? That's
Seriously. Hey, you gotta read the room. Wrong move, wrong time. What are you upset about?
Yeah, why?
What do you think? The one air freshener from the NBA is the team that beats us in the NBA Conference Finals. Gotta know that could backfire.
Man than that. Cut it
Yeah,
out.
I could be, but I'm not.
Wow.
Oh.
Here's one thing I'll shout out. Before I even opened them, I picked them up and I could smell the scents. I was like, wow, these are obviously packed with a fragrance.
So we pride ourselves on having some traditional scents, some non-traditional scents, but our entire approach and our entire brand is adding a cool factor to the air freshener and changing the experience.
You sell any of this stuff in retail, or is it all subscription direct to consumer online?
So we built our business off of direct-to-consumer online. We proved the concept to the tune of over $1.1 million in sales. And then, thank you.
1.1 million sales in how much time?
In 3 years.
Wow.
Let's talk about 1 year, this year. What are you going to do in this year in sales?
This year we're going to do over $750,000. But to answer your original question, Mr. Wonderful, we've always known that the subscription was the first phase of our building our business, but the main potential and the biggest potential for us is in retail and wholesale,
Why
right?
would you say that? Have you proven that, or have you just started down that alleyway?
Well, gas stations, things like that, things where it's intuitive to pick this up.
Exactly. So just in the last 6 months,
Oh.
we've been able to get to the final stages of an agreement with the largest automotive retailer in the country.
What's the deal?
2,000 stores, 2,000 of their 6,000 locations.
In other words, they're going to order from you how many dollars of merchandise?
$2.1 million in 2023.
So it's like Pep Boys, that kind of thing.
It's awesome. Right. What did you sell last year? Last year we sold 540,000.
Almost a lot,
Any
buddy.
retail, was it all subscription? Why does somebody buy a subscription model for an air freshener for their car?
Right, yeah, so it's a convenience factor, right? Think rideshare drivers, taxi drivers, these types of individuals.
If I started with
How was your exam? Was it good? Yeah. Look, we only got a little bit. It's your fault. How did you do that? There you go. There it is. So let this be a lesson to you, right? Try to do everything at once when you're in an area instead of walking back and forth a million times. Okay? Because it takes forever to do it the way I'm doing it right now. Right? Is that saying cereal empty? Empty? All done? Okay. I'd like to have this all cleaned up by tomorrow morning. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm fucking tired of it. You know? You got over here some Monopoly, some receipts, seat books. Eh? Whoa. Ouch. 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 Ow. Hey, you see what I did? I tripped on the wagon. Maybe, just maybe, I'll fuck up the vacuum and I can get it done. I'm right in the middle of making your juice to it. So I played a video, right, of this kid that he started off with a paper cut, right? And he went around to people and he's like, it's not creating this paper cut for any trading like for any, right? Trading a paper cut for a pencil, and trading a pencil for a pen, and trading a pen for like what, right? And trading a book for like a bike or something. And he traded all the way up to a car. He was trying to get a house. You hear what I said? Isn't that crazy? It's nuts, buddy. All from a friggin' paper clip. I know it stopped, right? I know. I'll get it. Yo, Az, what's up? I don't know how I didn't hear that. Oh man. On the underside of the collar is a collar stay pocket. Well, got brushes, paints, canvas, no drop sheet, but that's okay. And this goes on the inside of the shirt. And instantly change my shirt into a hidden button down collar. So wherever you put your collar is where your collar stays. Ouch! Fuck. Nothing else like this in the menswear industry. These are spectacular. Thank you. We knew we had something pretty special when we acquired 3 high-end men's specialty stores. What retailer are you selling them? Nordstrom contacted us. We did a test of our power stays, which launched in 24 stores. But the
3 months we went to 77 stores. We had sold over 18,000 units. We made them over $600,000 retail. We're currently in all 115 Nordstrom stores.
Jonathan, you're the real deal.
Oh yeah, I am the real deal. I design and produce all this stuff myself. The packaging, the displays, the product is on me.
Jonathan, what are your sales today in all the products?
Year to date today, I'm at a $500,000. Expecting 1.8 next year.
1.8. Wow. What are you gonna do with the 85,000?
Damn it, anybody here, you should know. What can I do with $85,000? To really take this brand to the next level, I need to get someone that knows what the hell they're doing to get me there, so I can continue to create. I've got products on the drawing board. I've got products right now still in development.
Jonathan, let me tell you something. I love your passion. I love your knowledge. I love your approach.
I'm waiting for the buy.
Yeah, there's a buck coming.
I'm not the guy with the connections. I'm not the guy who adds value. I'm just not the guy to help you. I'm out.
Jonathan, I really can't do anything for business on that.
The guy that's staying the most quiet is the one that can help you the most, but he's staying quiet.
I'll make an offer. $100,000 for 30% of the business, but I want a royalty on that money. I want a 14% royalty.
Man, I hope my buddy didn't get arrested
It's
again.
just like a loan.
No, I'm getting a ton of equity too. I want 30% of the company.
It's a loan, right?
No, it's not a loan.
Robert's giving me the eye.
He's basically disappeared.
You're paying 14% off the top.
You know, I love Robert.
I love Robert too.
Robert gives you the eye, but he doesn't have any money. That's the problem. In the end, you need cash, my friend. Making you an offer. Never disrespect the cash.
Don't like that deal.
You know why I like that deal? Because I know you're going to need
I
more
like
cash.
how
You're
everybody
going to
doesn't
be
have
every
any money.
90 days for
Oh,
$250 million. And if things are going well, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All right, you have an offer?
That's on the table. Great. Anyone else? Why don't you like his offer? I need more than money. I need someone that can help me. Damon, you sold hats, one product, right? And then you created this empire of a brand.
Oh.
So you're looking at me like I can't make this into a successful brand. That's what I don't get. I don't know where you come
I didn't
from.
say you can't make it a successful brand. People who are successful have thoughts of high value, and people who are not have thoughts of low value. So you're valuing yourself high.
How am I valuing myself high? 85,000.
You should be. But if you're going to argue with me, then I don't want to partner who's going to argue with me. So
Damn,
just
I don't. You out of anybody
because
should
of
understand what I'm doing. I mean, I don't get it.
I was actually going to throw an offer on the table.
Now he's gonna say because I was arguing.
You see his hand right there? I still am not done talking. I'm out.
I know.
Jonathan, you absolutely pissed him off.
To clarify what I was trying to tell you, when the reason that you will be wealthy is because you have thoughts of high value. I was trying to give you a compliment. When I was trying to talk, I could not speak to you.
I'm waiting for it.
Sorry. And I'm sorry, and I will never take forever again because I was going to give you an offer, and you botched the offer.
Oh, what a baby.
You want me to give him a call with him every day?
I want you
Hey, can I talk to you?
I'll get in the contract. I'll never call you again.
I cannot stand partners that I can't even speak to. If you would have shut up, you would have had an offer.
Damn.
I want to apologize for real. I apologize. I didn't mean to come off that way. If I've offended you in any way,
You did
then
not
I would
offend
do
me.
nothing
You
different.
did not offend me. I'm not offended. My feelings aren't hurt.
I think you're missing out on a big opportunity.
Come on, Damon, you're such a baby. Cut it out.
Listen, what? I have pet peeves.
This is a pet peeve. Get over it.
You really hurt his feelings, Jonathan. Let me talk to Robert a last chance, and then sit there and just think about it. I'm a nice guy. I'll stop talking, okay?
Jonathan, it's not the first time you've heard that, is it?
No? Oh, yeah, when it's the year, picture no for an answer. Next.
I'm actually upset. You know why? Because I like you.
Look, and I like you guys. I mean, whatever. No, I would talk to you, but
You know what I think we should do? We talk.
whatever. No, not whatever. Damn it. I'm here to...
Damon, he's nervous. He's a high-energy guy. Why don't you cut him a little slack?
Well, why don't you cut him a check?
It's
I'll make you an offer. I'll give you the 100,000 for 30%. Would you go 200,000 for 30%?
Wait a second. I'll drop my equity ask down. 100,000 to 20%. I want the world to see. That's different than what he wants. He's a savage. He's asking for a third of your business.
You're a vulture. I should be getting royalty here. I'm the one that's creating this stuff. Jonathan, I'll give you 100,000 for 25%.
Creepy.
That's my final.
Come on, bacon.
One more thing. I'm gonna go back.
Barbara, what are you doing?
I'm gonna give you $100,000 for 20%. Provided Damon forgives you. And I'll be a front man, Dan. You never have to talk to this guy. You just enjoy his success. And you know I'm a great friend.
That's not enough.
Oh, Damon.
That's not enough percentage on the company.
So what is it? You want to match his at 25%?
Bacon's almost done.
Can't take less than 40.
Oh, come on. Wow.
Jonathan, come back to Daddy. Come back to Daddy.
I'm putting a difference of only 15% due to my knowledge. That's all. That's the difference.
Okay, I'll drop my equity ask down to 15%. But the royalty stays in place.
With Damon and Barbara, we want to do 30%. $100,000 for 30%.
This show is so left up.
The offer's a hard one.
Jonathan, you have to make a decision now.
Good.
Yes, I would like to do a deal with Barbara and Damon.
Fuck.
You know what? I deal with creative guys like designers. You will never get a word in, and you'll never get anything done.
You were spanking him like a baby seal.
I almost blew the deal with Damon because of my big mouth. Barbara, love you. Thank you for getting that hook out and getting Damon back into the game. Appreciate it.
Dive into the Shark Tank YouTube channel and subscribe now.
Well. Holy shit, this is dumb. No. I can't show this or we'll get striked, but these kids have fucking mops on their heads. On top of their helmets. Man, that looks so stupid. If you kids think you look cool, I feel bad for you.
Just about every parent can relate to the struggle that you face when you try to get your child to wear their safety helmet.
These kids look like fucking idiots.
Why? Well, safety helmets are not perceived as being cool.
Holy
They're
shit.
clunky, plain, boring.
Holy shit.
So, we took something
FOHAWX.
originally inspired by my daughter Riley. Faux hawks are decorative.
This is unbelievably stupid. Okay. These fucking kids look like they're roosters or something. How am I gonna share this? Good morning, Carrie Ann. How are you doing, sweetie? Here, I'll cue this up so we can find a nice picture of these stupid looking hats. Holy crap, dude. These are idiotic. Look at this kid's hat. They look like chickens or something. This one with the long one with the dreadlocks. Oh man. Does this not interfere with the safety of this fucking helmet? Putting a brush on your head. I'm good. I think these are ridiculous. I'm right in the middle of making burgers. These people are million and billionaires, and I don't know, these people came in showing them a helmet with a fucking brush on the top. It looks like, honestly, they like stole the idea from ancient Rome or whatever. They do, they're absurd. These poor kids. Oh, they detect the kids off the stage because they're gonna fight. Oh my god, this idiot put it on his head. Put the crap on your head, Richie. Wow. Yeah, poor kids. Yeah, poor little bastards. If my mom ever made me leave the house looking like that, I would have fucking, I don't even know. My helmet would have fell off while I was crossing the street, and that would have been the end of the story for sure. Ridiculous. I like how they didn't even focus on the long ones. Fun. Who's that? Oh, it smells good in here. Yeah, I know, right? Any smart kid would do the same, I think. That's ridiculous. And how is that gonna make a kid? But okay, you want to know how you make your kid wear a helmet? Make it look stupider. Jeez Louise.
Next up is a business that creates...
Uh-oh.
Meaningful connections for fans.
So, what are your plans for today? I got a canvas, so I don't know what I'm gonna draw yet on it. I'm trying to think of I don't know, a person or a place that I would like to capture. It's been so long since I painted. And even longer since I painted with like a subject.
$30,000 in exchange for 20% equity in my company. 4 years ago, when I gave birth to my first child, it should...
I can't do anything abstract with the paints that I could, but not the way that I like to paint. I use like huge amounts of paint. I'm gonna use up all the paint that I've got here. I'm probably gonna have to get more, I would bet. Huh. It's Thursday, right? For you? Cool. Not Friday yet. Probably. Probably get a little bit a little inebriated and paint for a day or two. Man, these are not cute though.
Who cares how you look? You just had a baby.
Well, it will almost certainly be happening. I mean, I've got everything here. This is a shame, this episode of Shark Tank that's playing in the background here. This woman's treating pregnant women like they're not beautiful in the first place. I don't know. For some reason, pregnant women end up looking really pretty. Yeah, that's what I think too. You can't bully pregnant women, even if you're making like fashion for them. Especially if you're making fashion for them. Never mind.
It's about me and being humiliated among total strangers.
How many women have a baby every year?
This is why it's so exciting. It's a $4.5 billion market, maternity. It has experienced 2% growth every year since 2002.
What are your sales?
11,500.
Oh!
That's from 2009 to currently.
Wow.
I understand that asking for $30,000 for 20%, you're basically saying your company is worth $160,000.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you why. I'm not standing in front of you with a silver spoon in my mouth. I've been working since I was 13.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bet. This woman has made $11,000 in 16 years. That is not a profitable business. I don't know how you would ever try to sell that to somebody. Yeah, pregnant women definitely glow. I think honestly, so when you guys are pregnant, it's the only time that a human carries more than whatever it is, 5 pints of blood or some fucking, I don't know how much it is, but we've got a certain amount of blood, and when you're pregnant you've got more. I think that adds to the rosy glow thing.
Like, after the kids go to bed, after I work my 40-hour-a-week job.
We evaluate companies accordingly to how much sales you have.
There's no debt on this company. I have no loans, I've never borrowed money, everything is paid for. I'm sitting on about $20,000 in fabric, all the custom made
$20,000 worth of fabric. Yikes.
All the blankets are made, so...
Teacher, what do you do for a real job?
I sell drugs for a living. The legal ones. I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep.
That's what I thought. I think I researched it pretty hard. I spent a number of years around pregnant women.
I like the enthusiasm, but those are basic ingredients for any successful business. Let's focus on how this business grows. And I say to you,
And then all their pregnant friends too. A lot of you guys like cluster together. Like one woman gets pregnant and then like 4 of her friends are all pregnant too.
Absolutely. Deidre, you didn't give us your price on this. My price point is a little bit too high. Why? Because I'm manufacturing in small quantities. Retail price, they're $119. And keep in mind, $119.
Woo! These things are sour. Oh.
Everything all told is $49.
I just can't get over this the amount of sales. You're only doing $11,000 a year in sales.
It's just me. This is me working a full-time job. I'd be dangerous if I...
This show sucks. Yeah.
Hi Sharks, I'm Ben.
And I'm Jen.
And we're co-founders of Toybox. We're asking for $150,000 for a 5% stake in our company.
And I don't know. You wouldn't hear me complaining. I'm definitely any relationship that I've been in, I've been allowed to comment on fucking, you know, just on other people. It smells like bacon right now.
Simply find the toy you want and press print. Toybox will instantly beam down your toy and start printing. And if you're feeling more creative, you're in luck.
Welcome to the Creator Space of the app. Here, kids can design and print their own toys. So whether you're drawing simple things or designing your own block buddy, Toybox can fill your creative needs.
So Sharks, let's invest in the next generation of young minds and turn this Toybox into a money box.
Come on, bacon. We have samples.
Cool.
I'm cute.
I got a lobster.
Why a lobster for David?
I used to work at Red Lobster.
And Margaret printed you your own scrub daddy.
And Mr. Wonderful, we printed you your one true love, a big bag of money.
Maybe we printed you a shout out to your Shark Tank fish, a cutout of Kevin O'Leary.
And Mark, we know you're super involved in basketball, so we gave you a pumpkin, a big orange.
Yeah, it does actually smell pretty good. That's because I'm so sweet and lovely. That's hilarious.
So we built most of this company on an $80,000 investment. Total, we've raised around $290,000.
The reason we were able to build this product was such a
There's a number of people that would disagree with that. For sure.
We worked at Microsoft as developers and engineers. I personally worked in data science.
So this isn't
Oh man, dude.
3D printers and have for a while. What's different is that yours is specifically for toys, and is it therefore smaller and less expensive than others out there?
Yeah, so we sell this printer for $299, which is definitely on the cheapest end of 3D printers. What we do specially for kids is we combine hardware and software to make a really friendly user experience. So we have right now over 750 toys. We add 7 to 10 toys a week, and then we're always monitoring what kids are playing with, and we adjust what we add based on that.
Who the hell is Hot Dog Timmy?
Used a couple times and then put away. And $299, so that's a
The internet is getting crazy.
What are your sales like? So
What
right
is
now,
that?
we're focusing just on internet sales.
Hold up.
Primarily sales on our website.
New ground in Manitoba's justice system. It's the first time an order was granted under the Unexplained Wealth Act. And
The Unexplained Wealth Act. Be careful, Carrie Ann.
donations from his own temple. CTV's Harrison Shen.
Okay. I'm gonna make burgers, but yeah, it'll be good. I'll talk to you later.
Criminal property forfeiture. It will be the first time an order was granted in Manitoba under the Unexplained Wealth Act, which was passed.
Unexplained Wealth Act.
Now, a Sikh priest, Sukhwinder Singh, may have to explain how more than $412,000 in cash ended up in his living quarters. The order is puzzling.
Why this was from children.
it's a test case. I'm really not sure.
Singh would also have to explain how he was able to buy a house worth $322,000, but Brennan points out
the determination will have to be made by the director.
He has to explain how $412,000 showed up in his apartment.
The order relates to criminal charges and 2 civil suits against Singh for allegedly stealing donations from the Gurdwara Kalgidar Darbar, a Winnipeg Sikh temple. The Gurdwara declined to comment on the order. Mary Michelle Gallant is a professor of law in the University of Manitoba. She says wealth can mean anything. The onus is on the respondent to provide proof.
That's crazy.
Houses, right? Any empty lots, anything attached to land, that's all real estate. Provide some documentary evidence. Show us your, I don't know what your savings were, things like that, right? Or show us this job you have that's allowing you to accumulate all this wealth.
Brennan, Singh's lawyer says there won't be a quick
No
resolution
way.
right away.
There are multiple proceedings.
How is that even legal?
So I think it will be a considerable period of time before there's any resolution.
Harrison Shin, CTV News.
Like infinity? They're never gonna come up. Fuck off. That is an overreaching government right there. Holy dude. Imagine that. The government looks at you and is just like, oh. So I imagine like the king doing it, right? The king sees you and is like, oh, that guy's got too much nice shit. How'd you get all that stuff? No, I'm going to send my guards over there and we're going to get to the bottom of this because you look like you have too much money. Fuck that. Money in Zimbabwe is worth less than toilet paper? Yeah. Is that real?
That is 1 million Zimbabwean dollars.
1 million Zimbabwe dollars.
Well, that is how much this whole house cost. Because what they did is they printed so much money that now you can't really use this for anything. In fact, this, you're not going to believe this, is 100 billion Zimbabwean dollars.
This is $100 billion.
When I was a kid, when I was our age, I could have bought this whole town for this money. Now, you can't even spend this on food. In fact, you can't even buy toilet paper with this.
What the?
This is less valuable than toilet paper. So you may as well walk home with it. That is 1 million Zimbabwean dollars. Well, that is how much this whole house.
This guy went to Zimbabwe. What a dick. He went to Zimbabwe with $1 billion Zimbabwean dollars in his pocket because it's worthless and he shows it to these kids. Oh, that's hardcore. Like, but here's the facts, you little kids. I'm from a different country. Okay. I'll be back. I'm gonna see if we can do a cooking stream here.